Tonight, some hard questions. Is the city doing enough to help the homeless? Or, as some charge, is it doing too much? Mark Curtis has tonight's report.
Night after night, they line the sidewalks by the dozens and by the thousands. One by one, they form a seemingly endless chain of human misery, connected only in their efforts to keep warm, to sleep, or simply to survive another night in the streets.
Time to go and lay down.
Donald Turner is among those fighting to get by. At 38, he's been homeless on and off since he ran away from home in Dayton, Ohio at age 12.
My life at home was not very pleasant.
So he took up residence in a dumpster.
The dumpster was my home. It was where I first learned how being on my own was going to be. It was going to be lonely.
Donald spends each night sleeping alone on a bench outside a fast food restaurant not far from City Hall. But he is hardly alone in his problem. City officials and advocates for the homeless estimate the homeless population in San Francisco at anywhere from 10 to 16,000. To help, there are more than 100 separate agencies trying to aid them with everything from food to clothing to health care to money. But critics such as Earl Murray of Coal Valley say that is actually making the problem worse. To him, the social services agencies are really more interested in keeping themselves in business and not solving the homeless problem.
I would like to just correct things. I want to get the social services mafia the hell out of here so you don't have all these bums around here. They bring them in because they get so much money per bum.
But that attitude offends those who are trying to help the homeless. Randy Shaw runs the Tenderloin Task Force, and he says no one is trying to profit on the plight of the needy.
Those who call about a homeless industry are really uninformed, because I could show you the wage levels of all the nonprofits who work in homeless services. They're about half that of city workers, half that.
Still, whether it's a cottage industry or not, the city of San Francisco now spends almost $80 million a year on the homeless. Private charities and nonprofits spend another $20 million. With all that money, many wonder why the problem still exists. The homeless problem has become something of an endless tug of war here in San Francisco. The various factions involved can't even agree on why the problem is so severe, and because of that, there is little agreement on how to fix it. Some homeless advocates say that what it will take, simply put, is homes, specifically 10,000 new low-income housing units.
In reality, to resolve homelessness, you have to spend money on affordable housing, because no matter how much you spend on treatment programs, medical programs, people will still be homeless if they don't have a place to live.
But paying for new housing remains a huge obstacle. Officials with the mayor's office on homelessness say San Francisco can't afford to put the bill alone. They want surrounding counties to help.
You know, we're not going to build our way out of this problem with housing. We can have as many services as we want. But until we get the other counties on board, until we come up with a strategic plan that's going to benefit all of us, I think we're still going to be presented with these type of problems.
But critics say a lot of money spent on the homeless is being wasted. Former Human Services Commissioner Earl Rynerson says giving out cash as general assistance is a disaster.
The cash that we're providing to people on top of all the services has become nothing more than a drug and alcohol allowance. So these individuals who we're trying to help, we're actually harming them by keeping them out on the streets as addicts.
Ironically, as we conducted this interview, a 29-year-old homeless woman in the background was using illegal drugs.
We, right here in broad daylight, just watched some people shoot up heroin, right in broad daylight here in the alley. I mean,
isn't that amazing?
What's your reaction to that?
It's sad. It's really sad.
Fresh cigarette. Fresh cigarette.
Spare change, please.
The drug and housing issues aside, there are those who think cutting off benefits and forcing the homeless to work is the answer.
No, there's jobs around for these kids. Now they can get off their dead rear ends and do something.
But homeless people such as Donald Turner disagree. But a lot of people would say there's plenty of jobs out there. Unemployment's very low. They say you can find a job and get off the streets if you really tried.
No, you can't.
Why not?
Because when you go in these offices, they're looking at one thing, how you're dressed. If you don't have on the right clothes or had the right appearance, I can go through an interview and still not get a job.
For now, a solution to the homeless problem appears far off. Despite the bleak conditions and bureaucratic gridlock, Donald Turner says amid the despair, there is still hope.
Some people treat me less than human, but inside myself, I know I'm not less than human, because as long as I can wake up every morning and see that sun rising, I know that I got another day and another chance to try to get up off the